In this movie, we'll be adding some light. Let's go ahead and create a new layer. The first thing that we need to do is burn some detail down. So we're going to go ahead and burn some detail down here, and I'm on a adjustment layer, soft light, and here's my before and after. The reason I'm doing that is because I want to add some light in here. I can always pull this back later. Next thing that I'm going to do is press Shift-Option-Command-E to merge everything to a new layer, and I'll call this one Light, and actually rename this one Merged. Because I had forgotten that I wanted to burn some detail down, so I burned that detail down. Here we have all the underlying layers combined up top. All right, we're going to navigate to Filter, Render, Lighting Effects. Now that we're inside of Lighting Effects, the type of light that we want to use is not directional, not omni, but spotlight. And we're going to create a spotlight here, and this one looks actually pretty good. And the way this works is we can grab these handles and spin this thing around so the light's coming from a different direction. And we're going to need two different lights, so I'm going to go ahead and work on my first light. And I want the light coming out of the light source. I want it to go for quite a distance, so I need to stretch this pretty far here. And then once I have the light in position, I can dial in my settings over here. Now I can have a shiny light or a matte light. I'm going to increase the shininess of it a little bit, make it metallic or plastic. And I'm just playing with these sliders till I get the settings that I like for this particular image. All right, now that I have one light, click on the light icon to add another. Click and drag. There's my second light source. This one's going to come from the other side. Sometimes it gets tricky when you have multiple light sources and you'll accidentally select the one that you don't want, but you can always just select the other one simply by clicking off of it and clicking on the other one. And I want to make sure my angle's lining up and have some good light direction here. I'm going to dial these settings in, do all this detail work. And then click OK. All right, now we have some light on our image. The only problem is it darkened everything else. And it looks like one of my lights isn't quite close enough to light. So I'm going to undo that and go back to my filter, render, lighting effects. The nice thing about this is it's going to remember the position of my lights and where they were previously. So I'll go ahead and select the other light and move it up just a little bit. And I'm going to actually take down my ambience light here and click OK. That looks cool. Next step is going to be to lower the opacity, of course. Here's our before and after. Very cool. Create a mask. Option click the mask icon. Grab your brush tool and paint with white. On 100% opacity, of course. My opacity was down. So we can bring some light in here. Let's look at our before and after. It's looking pretty good. We may want to go in and modify this a little bit. So I'm just going to soften the edge of the light there just a tad bit. And let's look at our before and after. Subtle, yet significant. Of course, we can dial in the intensity of the lights based on our opacity. And if we want even more, we can press Command J to double them up. But you know what, for me, that looks pretty good. And now that I look at it, I'm thinking, you know what, I bet I don't need this burning layer in here. Just these lights coming in up top. I might need them, but I might just need them up top. So I'm going to create a mask on that and click on the layer for my burning. And then fill that layer with black and paint with white to just bring in some darkness around the edge here so we can kind of see the lights coming off there, but not bring them completely onto the sign. Create one final layer, Shift Option Command N, and on this layer, I'm going to take my blend mode to soft light, and I'm going to extend these lights over here a little bit. Lower the opacity just a tad bit. Do that one more time. And just do some last minute details. We could spend a lot of time doing some detail work, but I say this image is in a pretty good spot. Let's hit the Tab key, F to go to full screen view mode, and F7 to bring up our layers palette. Here's our before and after. All right, it's looking pretty good. One last thing that I realized I need to do, I'm going to click on my mask on my light layer, make sure I'm painting with black. I just want to paint the light away from the top part up there. Well, that wraps up this image and our first look at adding light with our filters.